Hey y'all, what's good? And welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you guys so much. Let's remember to have healthy dialogue, be respectful to ourselves and to each other, and to challenge the argument and not the person. Let's get it. In 2021, the governor of Georgia signed the House Bill 479, which prohibits bystanders from making arrests if a crime is committed in their presence. This was known as the Citizens Arrest Law. Prior to this law being repealed, Georgia stated that a private citizen may arrest an offender if the offense is committed in the presence or within their immediate knowledge. It also states that if the offense of a felony and the offender tries to escape, the private person may arrest him upon reasonable and probable grounds of suspicion. Hannah Payne believed that she had reasonable suspicion to detain Mr. Herring because she witnessed an accident. Georgia Criminal Code, Section 17 4 60 through 61, supports what a private citizen can or cannot do in an attempt of a citizen's arrest. A citizen can only detain another citizen if they believe that that person committed a felony. Felony offenses per the state of Georgia include armed robbery, burglary, or other type of theft crimes, arson or other types of property crimes, assault and battery, drug distribution, manufacturing, and trafficking, embezzlement, fraud, and other white collar crimes, kidnapping, grape, and child SA, unaliving, manslaughter, and homicide. The law goes on to state that a private citizen can only detain someone for a reasonable amount of time before they have to release them if the police have not shown up. We have all wondered for the last 4 years what made Hannah believe that she could falsely imprison someone and take their life. It is to be suspected that Hannah believed she was making a lawful citizen's arrest. She had a weapon, she had a license to carry, and she believed that she could take matters into her own hands because she was being assaulted. But that is not the case here. Okay. She likes to be in control. She is a matter of fact person, and that the law simply does not apply to her. So we're going to look at a video from her parents after Hannah was arrested and charged with the unaliving of Mr. Kenneth Herring.
Rick Payne. Okay. So you guys are very emotional today. Talk about hearing. You obviously got an outcome that you were looking for, $100,000 bond. Your reaction?
uh, uh, I'm speechless. I'm just so glad, that it went that way. I mean, we're sorry for what happened and everything regards to Mr. Heron's family and everything, but Hannah is not the person that they are saying she is. She's not at all. She's the sweetest, most caring. Does not see color, does not see race, nothing at all. She is just.
We're going to stop here because I want to point out a couple of things. The prosecution never charged Hannah with a hate crime. And almost immediately, her parents are using the race card. To me, it doesn't matter if she sees black or white. At the end of the day, we are all individuals who deserve respect and safety. Your daughter, despite how nice you think she is, can be multiple things and multiple people at the same time. Your daughter felt entitled enough to involve herself in something that had absolutely nothing to do with her, pursue someone that did not directly harm her, approach him, verbally and physically assault him, pin his car in a way that he couldn't escape, and then took a GUN that she owned for safety and protection to take his life. It doesn't matter what you think she is or what she was to you in regards of her personality. She did a terrible thing and now you're making excuses for her. See, I don't do well. I don't do well with people who lack accountability. I don't. And so that's what makes a lot of these cases hard for me because I know I always preach about taking the emotion out. And for the most part, I do. But in this case, it angers me so much because Mr. Herring can be considered a senior. He was 62 or 66, minding his business. Okay. He did not become aggressive with anyone. Okay. He wasn't under the influence of anything. He was well respected. He was loved. He has a family as well that are hurting. And for you to stand here and act as if she did nothing wrong angers me.
An amazing human being that she is, and if you ever get the chance to know her, you'll realize that as soon as you lay eyes on her.
Talk about you guys kind of got thrust into this as well, and sitting there in court and watching your daughter feel the emotions and to see her in pain. Talk about what goes through your mind as a parent.
Just pain. I mean, I'm completely heartbroken. I feel like something is missing, and it is missing, and it's Hannah.
What do you say? You just mentioned about the family, Mr. Herring's family. What do you want to say to them?
I just wanted to say that this was an unfortunate situation that turned out the way it did.
She seems very self centered, standoffish to me. No remorse. The only thing you need to do is apologize. We know it's an unfortunate situation. Do you realize that? I'm tired of these parents not holding their children accountable for things. We don't want to get to know your daughter. I don't want to know anything about your daughter. I don't care. All of that is irrelevant to me. Period.
But not at the hands of my daughter.
What do you mean, not at the hands of your daughter?
Just it was not her fault.
What do you guys think happened?
I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know. Yeah.
real quickly then I'll change course on that. Can you talk about what led? She had a concealed weapons permit. Is that
Yes.
right? Can you talk about what led to her getting a firearm and what her kind of
Just
thought process?
everyday protection that the society that we live in today. I mean, you hear about it every day on the news. Innocent people are getting shot. Innocent people are getting broken into.
Go figure. You say your daughter got a gun for everyday protection because innocent people are being shot, but your daughter took her gun and shot an innocent person.
And she travels around Atlanta with her job. Just personal protection. I mean, and everybody has the right to do that.
Ms. Payne, do you think she would have made the same decision no matter what the race of the person involved in that hit and run?
Yes. Yeah. Hannah doesn't see color. Yeah. She does not see color. She sees right. She sees wrong. That's who she is.
What are you gonna do when you're gonna make that post that bail? I would imagine today, and then what?
Hopefully, just hold my daughter and never let her go. But I can't do that. I mean, we have been torn apart.
So tell us your
I mm, You know what? I think it's easier to make excuses so that you don't have to face the reality that your daughter is a murderer. That's just it. Like, your daughter wasn't protecting herself. She was not right in this situation. She brought this upon herself. She brought this upon herself. Just because you purchase a weapon so that you can feel safe does not mean that every opportunity you have, you pull it out and threaten to use it. That's not what that means. Your daughter couldn't wait to use that gun. She couldn't. And I don't care who doesn't agree with me. She couldn't. Because, see, if your daughter was just this upstanding citizen, not once did we hear her ask if he was okay. How could she be of assistance? You never heard her uh, seem concerned with 911. She called him drunk and intoxicated, high on something. She had already made it up in her mind that this black man who was having a medical emergency was had to have been under the influence or something. In fact, he's so drunk that he's going to pull off and cause another accident. She had already made her mind up. Okay. And again, she showed no concern for him while he was alive. She showed no concern for him after the fact. She wanted to make sure that there were other citizens available to corroborate her story. Okay. So now you go find some other people of color to speak on her behalf to what prove to us that she sees no color. Sure, we don't want to make this a black and white issue, but you're not convincing me. Not that I need you to, but what are we doing here?
Relation to Hannah.
She's my girlfriend.
Okay. So just tell us your reaction. How long have you, first of all, how long have you been dating Hannah?
Like 2 years.
So what's your reaction to what she's been going through in this whole situation? What was your reaction when you first heard what happened?
I didn't believe what happened, in that case, because that's not Han at all. Because, like they say, she been through like a lot of problem with job, her job, family. It's just a lot of stuff, that she was handled. And
Let me stop him right there so I can explain something to you guys. It was reported that Hannah purchased the gun because she worked as a property manager. Okay. So her responsibilities included meeting clients for payment of rent and mortgages, meeting clients to tour homes and apartments and things of that nature. Okay. She claims that there were times where she felt unsafe. And so she took it upon herself to get her license to carry, and she carried a weapon with her regularly. She claims that her immediate supervisor was well aware of this, as well as her parents and other family members and friends. I don't doubt that. She probably did feel safe as a young lady, and I mean a young lady. She was only 21, meeting strangers, and you don't know what's going to happen. I'll give you that. But that does not mean live your life in fear. There are many of us who meet strangers, have jobs where we meet strangers, we work late hours, we work overnight, and we may have guns and whatever other weapons to keep us safe. But just because somebody jumps out of the corner and says "boo" doesn't mean I got to pull it out and use it and make excuses. Basically, what you're telling me is because she had problems in the past on her job, was she not stable enough? Is that what you're saying? Because if that's the case, she shouldn't have had the gun in the first place. Don't work a job where you're scared all the time to where it's boiling over, bubbling over to where when you can't even function in normal society. So every time something happens, you're triggered and you got to shoot someone. Is that what you're trying to say? It's not adding up. Y'all got to do better than this for me.
That thing that's all that happened, she just have like too much shit going on.
A lot of people are bringing race into this issue and pointing to that. How do you feel about that? What's your reaction to that?
That's just not true. Because you can really tell, like, all the Hannah's friends, you can really see. Even me, though. She's not like that
What's your
at all.
nationality?
Dominican,
You're Dominican.
yes, sir.
So you don't see her as seeing race. And
At all.
so what do you think when you hear people make this into a race issue?
Well, people that they said that because they race. That's what I think. Because if you see right here, I'm not seeing color, though.
So, racist citizens are saying that Hannah is racist because she potentially racially profiled someone of a different race. That doesn't make sense. I'm black. So you telling me that anybody that's black is racist against her? And so they're saying she's racist because of that? That doesn't make sense at all. Even if it wasn't a hate crime, even if she's not a racist, wrong is wrong and right is right. Nobody's addressing that at all. Mm-mm. And just because you got these couple of black people back here, what is that supposed to prove to me? See, that's how I know something else is going down because she was not charged with a hate crime at all. So why are we talking about this? We don't need to talk about it. Period.
We just humans. That's what I think.
Thank you.
I've been best friends with her since I was 14, and I'm 20 now. So,
Okay, so y'all met in high school.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so talk about Hannah.
She is an amazing person. In marching band, it was mentioned earlier. She was my parent, and I mean, she took care of me through high school. And after that, became best friends. And she's just so sweet and loving and caring. I just love her.
Were you in marching band with her?
Yes, we both played the clarinet. I was her section leader.
When you heard about what happened, this incident, what did you think?
I really couldn't believe it. I was shocked. I didn't want to believe it
What was so hard to believe about
because that's not Hannah. Because what the news was saying, it just wasn't Hannah at all. And I couldn't imagine her doing something like that out of malice, and that's what they were saying, and that's just not Hannah at all.
Did you know
Well,
that?
what would she do it from? What would she do it from? If someone walks up to my car and starts yelling at me and putting their hands inside my car, you best believe I'm going to fight back. You better believe I'm going to fight back. She had no business approaching him unless she was there to render aid. And in my research, what I've learned is that she was not a medic. She was not a medical professional, medical personnel. She wasn't trying to do CPR. She wasn't trying to give him anything sweet to eat to help correct his sugar. She was not there to help him whatsoever. So I don't want to keep hearing that's not like her. That's not like her. Okay, she was one person to y'all, but on the other end, she was somebody else. The facts are the facts. They don't change. It's the same either way. So that ain't gonna work either.
That Hannah had a concealed weapons permit?
No, I did not know, but I'm sure she got it because she needed protection. Just what normal people do to get protection.
So I just the whole we have to ask you as well the whole race issue that people are bringing into this and obviously that's the victim's family feels that that
Mhm.
could be an issue. What's your reaction to that?
I believe that it's easy for people to say that because that's the racial climate right now, and that is a lot of the stories you hear going on, but that's not the case. And I can say that personally because I know Hannah, and if that was the case, I would not be friends with her. and she's not that person at all.
You've never heard her say anything questionable,
Ever,
or yeah.
ever.
Okay, a message. You guys want to say anything to the victim and his
Um,
family?
just that we are deeply sorry for what happened, and if there's it's a real unfortunate situation. She didn't mean any malice. She didn't come. You know, they say she came with her gun drawn, but she didn't come with any violent intent. She didn't come to take
What?
anybody.
What? Yeah. First of all, why is it so hard to apologize? You fumbling over your words. Why is it so hard to apologize? This man stumbling over his words trying to figure out how to just apologize. Number 1. Number 2, approaching someone with a gun is intent enough. That's intent. Everyone knows when you carry a gun, you treat it as if it's dangerous and it's loaded. That is the intent. What did you approach him aggressively for with the gun? Hannah Payne was charged as follows: felony murder. In the state of Georgia, felony murder is when a person commits murder when they are in the commission of a felony and it causes the death of another, irrespective of malice. In the state of Georgia, a person does not have to have intent to cause a death, but intent to cause a felony. In this case, the felony is kidnapping. Hannah pinned Mr. Herring's car, preventing him from being able to drive away. Kidnapping and false imprisonment can be one and the same. The only difference is that with kidnapping, you would have to physically remove someone forcibly, and she did not. However, she did commit false imprisonment by pinning Mr. Herring's car and also placing her knee on the door of his car so that he could not exit his vehicle. While doing so, she pulled the trigger on her firearm and she unalived Mr. Herring. Count 2, malice murder. In a state of Georgia, a person commits murder unlawfully and with malice afterthought, causes the death of another human being. What is malice? Malice can be defined as the evil intent that is deliberate and void of any legal justification for taking a life. So now you may be asking, what is malice afterthought or aforethought? Sorry. Hannah intended to cause great bodily harm, knowing she would danger Mr. Herring's life. So we're going to look at the steps that Hannah took to facilitate murder. She followed Mr. Herring. She pinned his car. She verbally assaulted him. She physically assaulted him. She placed her knee on the door of his car. She then took her gun and she shot Mr. Herring. Mr. Herring did not have an opportunity to defend himself, even though he was well within his rights to do so, as Miss Hannah Payne was the aggressor. Miss Payne was also charged with aggravated assault. In the state of Georgia, aggravated assault is assault that involves a weapon against a particular class of people. In this case, Mr. Herring was a black man and he could also be considered a senior citizen. Assault alone is the action that is done to intimidate, coerce, or convey violence, and it doesn't have to be physical contact. So it can just be something as simple as gesturing or words. In this case, Hannah used words to intimidate Mr. Herring, and she used her hands to assault Mr. Herring, and she used her gun and gesturing her gun to assault Mr. Herring. Count 4, false imprisonment. False imprisonment, per the state of Georgia, is holding a person against their will without the person being forcibly moved or relocated. Hannah detained Mr. Herring without legal authority, despite the fact that the citizens' arrest law were still a law at that time. Mr. Herring had not committed any type of felony whatsoever, even though he was trying to leave the scene of the accident. Okay. And that is why she was charged with false imprisonment. She pinned his car and she took her knee and held it against his car door without allowing him to exit his vehicle. And she was also charged with weapon possession. Now, she did have a concealed to carry. However, I believe she was charged with this because she pointed her weapon at Mr. Herring and she used it to assault him and not to protect herself. Ignorance of the law is not a defense. Thanks for watching. Y'all leave me some comments and let me know what you think. As always, y'all be easy. Peace.